In 1990, Martin Scorsese released a film that redefined the gangster genre forever. Goodfellas wasn't just another mob movie. It was a wild, cocaine-fueled sprint through 3 decades of mafia life that left audiences stunned and cinema forever changed. But the most shocking stories weren't on screen. They happened behind the camera. What if I told you real gangsters visited the set daily? That some of the film's most iconic lines were improvised, terrifying even hardened crew members? Or that FBI agents actually questioned Scorsese about scenes that felt too real? Even more chilling, the real mobsters portrayed in the film showed up to the premiere, sitting just rows away from the actors who played them. It all started with a book Scorsese almost ignored. Nicholas Pileggi's Wise Guy, the true story of mobster Henry Hill, sat unread for months. Scorsese had sworn off crime films after Raging Bull. But one night, desperate for inspiration, he picked it up and immediately knew this was the story he'd been waiting for. From that moment, the film's dangerous journey began. Casting was just as intense. Ray Liotta practically stalked Scorsese to land the role of Henry Hill. Studios wanted Tom Cruise or Alec Baldwin, but Scorsese insisted on Liotta. Robert De Niro, obsessed with authenticity, even tried to call the real mob boss Jimmy Burke in prison. And Joe Pesci? His terrifying, funny how scene wasn't scripted at all. It came straight from an experience he once had with a gangster in real life. The other actors at that table weren't acting. Their fear was genuine. Improvisation became the film's heartbeat. Pesci's violent outbursts, Lorraine Bracco's shocking gun scene, even Henry's paranoid final day of freedom, much of it wasn't on the page. Scorsese whispered different directions to each actor, fueling confusion and tension. Sometimes, Ray Liotta even got last-minute lines directly from Henry Hill himself, who couldn't resist calling the set despite being in witness protection. But the danger wasn't only creative, it was real. Actual mobsters would show up on set, offering suggestions. A man once told Liotta, Henry twitched with his left hand, not his right. Then he vanished. Costume designers were corrected on which colors Jimmy Conway would never wear. Even FBI advisors worked alongside men who clearly had ties to the real-life crew. It was a razor's edge between filmmaking and criminal reality. Then came the technical innovations. The legendary Copacabana tracking shot, 3 minutes of unbroken movement through a nightclub, was so complex it nearly broke the crew. The frantic helicopter sequence that captured Henry's paranoia used hundreds of angles and groundbreaking sound design. Every detail, from the garlic sliced with razor blades to the violent montages, was crafted to make audiences feel like they were inside Henry's head. The result? Performances that changed acting forever. Liotta refused to judge Henry. Pesci weaponized unpredictability. De Niro radiated menace with silence. And Lorraine Bracco gave depth to Karen Hill beyond the typical mob wife role. Together, they created a story that was brutally honest, morally complex, and impossible to forget. When Goodfellas hit theaters, it wasn't just a success. It was a revolution. It influenced everything from The Sopranos to Pulp Fiction to modern prestige television. It showed that crime stories could be both seductive and horrifying, that audiences would follow deeply flawed characters, and that authenticity mattered more than likability. Even today, Goodfellas feels dangerously alive because it was made on that razor's edge between Hollywood and the mob. Scorsese once admitted, "There were days I wasn't sure if we were making a movie about the mob, or making it with them." After hearing these behind-the-scenes truths, you'll never watch it the same way again. This is StarLoop News. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of cinema's greatest masterpieces, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories, and drop a comment with your favorite Goodfellas scene. Stay tuned. Our next video uncovers the chaos and near disasters behind another classic film you thought you knew. You won't want to miss it.